What's going on, guys? It is Fabian here with FBstudios, and man, do I have a treat for you today. Today, we're going to talk about the 3 keys to natural light photography. So, stay tuned. Welcome back. Glad that you guys stuck in there. Now, we're going to jump right into this tutorial with the 3 keys to mastering natural light photography. And we're going to start with key number 1, and that is knowing your camera settings. Knowing your camera settings will more than likely always help you develop a great photo. Bad camera settings hardly ever lead to great photos. So, there are 3 main settings on your camera that control the look, vibe, and feel of your photo more than others. That is your f-stop or aperture, your shutter speed, and your ISO. These 3 things really control the look of your photo. So now you ask, what look are you going for? We are going for, in today's tutorial, that blowed out, beautiful bokeh look, where the sun is just glowing in the hair and the window, and it just has that soft vibe. Something that you would use for a wedding portrait, a boudoir shoot, or even a cinematic headshot where you wanted to introduce bokeh. Now, what is bokeh? Because you heard me mention it twice. Bokeh is the focal point or sharp point on your photo, and the rest of your photo falls off. Now, bokeh can be controlled by a few different methods. One is shooting what we call wide open, which is a lower f-stop number. f2.8, f1.2, or f1.4 would definitely do the trick. Also, the further your subject is away from the background, the more you will increase the bokeh. And also, shooting with a longer lens, like an 80-200 or a 74-200, that also will increase the bokeh effect in your photo. So be careful not to go too far, because you can get to a point to where only the inside of your eye is sharp and the rest of the photo is blurry, making it unusable. That was one of my big problems when I first started. What is my aperture normally at? I normally shoot around about an f2.8 on my natural light photography. I find it's a sweet spot for my camera and lenses that I use. Now, this could vary due to your lens and your camera settings, but it's a good point for me. So you say, Fabian, when I put my camera at f2.8, it is way too bright. The sun is just too bright. I can't use the photos, even if I have my ISO all the way down. I'm glad you asked. There's a few things that you can do to maintain that aperture, but yet tone down the brightness of your photo. You can diffuse the light. You can purchase an ND filter to put on your lens, or you can go to the other key setting, your shutter speed. Look at your shutter speed kind of like a door. If you're inside of a room and you try to open your door real fast and close it, you probably didn't get enough light in there if you were looking for something, right? But if you're in a dark room and I open the door slow, let you look for what you have to look for, then I close it, then you got enough light. So the shutter speed works the same way. The shutter speed is kind of like its own built-in ND filter. Turning up your shutter speed when you're shooting at a f2.8 or something of that nature will help you bring down the light. You can turn it up to 1200 or more depending on your camera settings. Now, that brings us to the 3rd key settings, which is your ISO. Now, ISO is a beautiful thing, but doing it too much will have a negative impact on your photos. You don't want to turn up your ISO to 10,000, 13,000, or something in that nature, because it's going to introduce noise into your photos, and no one likes a noisy or grainy photo. So, with that being said, you want your ISO to be as low as possible, and you might want to research to see what your camera's native ISO is, which is just the ISO that it performs the best at. Now, when all these three things put together, I'm probably 9 times out of 10 shooting at a f2.8. I'm shooting at a shutter speed of anywhere between a 100 to 250, and I'm shooting at an ISO of 100 to about 400 or 500, depending on the lighting conditions. All right, that's key number 1. Now, key number 2 is model positioning. Positioning your subject on a shoot can make all the difference in the world. You can do a quarter turn on a photo shoot, and that could be the key difference from an okay photo to a great photo. So always scout your location. Play around with different angles, different views before you just home in and start snapping. And also, try to position the sun on about a 45-degree angle if you're using the sun as a front key light, which is your main light, to get a good sweet spot. That way you have some nice shadows, but it's not too harsh or too bad of an angle. That's typically where we place our lights at in studio. So it only makes sense that it would also look good outside of studio. Which brings us into key number 3, controlling the light. And you might say, Fabian, I can't control the sun. No, you can't control the sun, but you can control how the sun interacts with your subject. You can bounce the light. You can reflect the light. You can diffuse the light. You can also bring in other forms of light, such as speed lights or even strobes. These things will definitely help you improve your natural light photography. Like in this example, we had our model in a beautiful big window with a lot of light coming from behind her. So we placed a reflective foam board in front of her to bounce that light back into the subject. That way we received a very, very soft, elegant glow, which is definitely a beautiful shot. And that can be done through key 1, knowing your camera settings, key 2, positioning your subject, and key 3, controlling the light. And it is so important. So, while I got your attention, please hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up. And if you're on Instagram, follow us at FBstudios. And if you're visiting the Atlanta area and you're looking for a studio home to shoot in, come check us out. That is what we're here for. Until next time, guys, see you later. God bless.